Today on the LA Food Podcast. I hope your competitive juices are flowing, dear listener, because it's time for the 2025 Top Chef Fantasy Draft. That's right, season 22 of Top Chef kicked off this week in Canada. As we do every year, Father Saul and I hosted a draft of the 15 competitors vying for the title of Top Chef. We're joined by 2024 champion Jesse Eats and two newcomers to the melee, Nancy De Silva and Bits Nicholas of the Compliments to the Chef podcast. Even if you're not a Top Chef fan, I think you're going to enjoy this one. And if you have any doubts about that, listen to part 1 of this podcast for my case on why you should care about Top Chef this year. Speaking of part 1, I also point you in the direction of two exciting articles that caught my eye this week. One is a look at a downtown chef executing an innovative business model that is both a sign of the times and a harbinger of things to come. The other is a rollicking feature of one of the world's most controversial restaurants. And let's just say, if communism and kebabs spike your interest, you're going to love part 1. As always, please consider leaving us a review, a rating, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm your host, Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, let's chow down. The LA Food Podcast is presented by The Lonely Oyster. Unwind at The Lonely Oyster's Echo Park Night Watch. Did you know that every night is industry night at The Lonely Oyster, dear listener? Stroll in after 10 p.m. nightly for a one-of-a-kind experience designed for the night owls and hospitality pros. Indulge in $12 handshake cocktails, expertly crafted liquid chef concoctions, delicious late-night hot bites, and chef's choice dozen oysters. More than just a place to unwind, The Lonely Oyster warmly welcomes industry professionals, providing a space where like-minded individuals can connect, relax, and enjoy the camaraderie that comes with the late-night scene. Whether you're looking to kick back after a long shift or simply enjoy the vibrant atmosphere, late night at The Lonely Oyster is the perfect rendezvous for those who appreciate good company and great food and drinks. Don't miss this nightly affair and let the good times roll at The Lonely Oyster. Happy Friday, dear listener. We've got a Top Chef coded episode for you today as the new season premiered on Bravo last night. I know some of you have mixed feelings about why the LA Food Pod feels the need to talk Top Chef, and you know what? I've wrestled with it too, but ultimately, I got a couple reasons why I think it makes sense for us to do so. First reason, there are actually 2 LA chefs competing in the show this year, who you'll hear a lot more about in part 2. But I think this is a really cool point of pride for the city's culinary scene, and I would love to see them do well. It's kind of like when an LA kid kills it at the Olympics, like Chloe Kim, the snowboarder who grew up in Long Beach, or Allison Felix, who grew up in Valencia and famously went to USC. Fight on. I know some might argue that Top Chef is a far cry from the Olympics, but I'm going to be just as proud if one of the LA chefs pulls it out of the bag as I would be if one of those LA Olympians got a spot on the podium. And maybe that's just me and my toxically competitive nature, but that's how I feel. The more substantive reason I think it makes sense for us to cover Top Chef is that especially the draft is a really cool peek at some of the hottest culinary talent in the country right now. I feel like it used to be the case that the chefs on Top Chef were maybe not the best of the best. They were just kind of interesting characters who knew how to cook and wanted to be on TV. And that's really no longer the case. We've got Michelin caliber, James Beard caliber up-and-comers competing, and many now go on to do really cool things. Just last year, for example, Top Chef alum Gregory Gourdet won Best Chef Northwest for his Portland restaurant Con at the James Beard Awards. Another great example is World All-Stars alum Charbel Hayek, who opened 2 of LA's most anticipated restaurants of 2024, Lady Hawk and Laya. And obviously, he's a former LA Food Podcast, so I've got a special spot in my heart for him. You know, I think you can maybe think of this draft as like your scouting report on the near future of culinary excellence in America. And I know that sounds lofty, but that's how I feel, and you're welcome. But before we jump into the Top Chef draft, I did want to point you towards a couple of things that caught my eye this week. First up, Bill Addison dropped a review of a newish Turkish tasting menu restaurant in downtown LA called Sora Craft Kitchen. And while the review is in and of itself fascinating, what really grabbed my attention was a companion piece written by Heather Platt on the restaurant's unique business model. The chef, and I cannot pronounce Turkish names, but I believe it's A.K.A, is an alum of Michelin caliber kitchens, including 11 Madison Park and Melise, but he's decided that in this economy, it makes the most sense for Sora Craft Kitchen to be a one-man show. He is literally the only employee, folks. He preps, cooks, serves, cleans, the whole 9 yards. He's arguing that as an independent restaurateur right now, this is the most sustainable way to do things. Interestingly, he points to his experiences working in fine dining as an inspiration for this model because he thought it was fucked up that the cooks were often making less than the servers as non-tipped versus tipped employees. He says that doing everything himself is a way to make the restaurant economics work, but also for him to take home a decent, livable salary. Now, I found Heather's look at the model fascinating for a couple of reasons. One, it's kind of a sign of the times of how hard things are for restaurants right now, but it's also a look at how tough it is to make a good living on the line in general. It really makes you think that something might need to be done about that. I don't think the tipping system is great in general, but when you've got a system where that becomes the more desirable option, you've got to ask yourself, what are we doing here? I also think it was really cool to see Chef Enoch actually implementing a sustainable business model because you hear a lot of aspiring restaurateurs talk about wanting to explore sustainable business models, but it seems like nobody's really got the answers. And if they do have some thoughts about how to do it, oftentimes they don't have the courage or the bandwidth or the resources to actually implement it. And Chef Enoch is actually out there doing the work, taking the chance. Of course, it's not perfect. For example, he got injured and had to close the restaurant for 3 months. So definitely some kinks to be worked out, but a very interesting read nonetheless. And I would not be surprised to see more restaurants of this ilk crop up. We'll be sure to link to the piece in the show notes. The second story that caught my eye is actually from the New York Times. It's written by Amelia Nierenberg, and she's writing about a restaurant called the Yellow Bittern, what she calls the most controversial restaurant in London. This is a lunchtime-only spot helmed by a self-proclaimed communist chef named Hugh Corcoran, who's ironically married to a literal aristocrat, but that's neither here nor there. Essentially, the restaurant has become the talk of the town for a couple of reasons. First, what they're doing is serving elevated versions of very rustic, simple food. Think like Irish stews and stuff served alongside open jars of mustard. The haters have noted that not only is it somewhat unrealistic for Londoners to take a leisurely lunch with a bottle of wine that costs about $100 a head, but they also think it's ironic that this self-described communist is inviting them to do so, all the while cooking what they call a fetishization of working-class food. The other piece of this that stirred controversy is that Chef Corcoran really does not give a single fuck. He's got a very degaff approach to his customers. On Instagram, for example, he wrote the following: "Restaurants are not public benches. You are there to spend some money." He was taking issue with people who split entrees at his restaurant and don't order alcohol. Again, this caused a hubbub because it's in stark contrast to what folks have come to expect of restaurants, i.e. a customer is always right hospitality experience a la Richie and the Bear. It's given the restaurant almost an increasingly mysterious air that the owner not only is a communist who wants you to splurge on elevated peasant food, but also he doesn't care whether you live or die. What really stuck out to me was Corcoran's response to the critics, and I'm reading directly from the piece now. The owners see it differently. For one thing, they said, they never claimed the Bittern was for the working class. "We have to run a business," Mr. Corcoran said. "The people who come here are the people who can afford to come here. And communism," he said, "is about the rights of the workers. It's about the hours they want to keep, not what hours their customers want to dine. What's the alternative," he said, "that we start a restaurant that's open 7 days a week and we employ loads of people and exploit their labor?" You know, at first when I heard this, I definitely fell into the rage trap and thought, fuck this guy, who does he think he is? It's giving Jessica Coslow serving expensive jam and expecting you to wash the mold down with an $8 latte. But the more I thought about it, I don't think Corcoran is entirely wrong here. You know, it's clear that the existing restaurant model isn't entirely sustainable, so why not prioritize your workers' well-being and then see what happens? The question is, does the restaurant have the gas to survive when the aura of the controversy subsides? Think horses after Catgate. That I don't know, but I'm all for someone approaching restaurants from the perspective of, let's make this a pleasant place for our people and let's charge what we need to charge to make it work. If people come, great. If not, we'll close anyway, like the vast majority of restaurants already are doing. Yeah, I can't really think of a perfect Los Angeles analog to this, but one that does come to mind is Capri Club in Eagle Rock. They are a place that is definitely trying something new that Angelinos maybe are not used to, which is sort of the Italian aperitivi culture, right? Which is a little different than happy hours. It's almost like a meal before a meal, right? And that's not something that's baked into Los Angeles culture, but they're basically inviting Angelinos to like take the luxury of having the aperitivo. Secondly, it's not like the friendliest place on earth, The bartenders aren't mean or anything like that, but, probably because they're so busy, they're definitely like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And despite all that, despite the fact that they're trying something that's not really in the Los Angeles dining lexicon, and B, that it's not like the most welcoming place ever, it's extremely popular. Like, it's really, really hard to ever get a seat there. And I think that is, to me, like the best analog to maybe what's going on at the Yellow Bittern. Maybe not quite as like communist tinged, but still like this sort of like, do what you think is right, have your own business model, believe in yourself, and hopefully the rest follows. In some ways, very similar to what's happening at Sora Craft Kitchen. That's the bit, doing things entirely himself is what that chef views as the most sustainable thing for him and his business, and he's giving it a go. So even though the Yellow Bittern is in London, I do think in general, this is kind of something we're going to be seeing with restaurants is people trying new things. I think that the economy makes it that it has to be so. Some might think of that as a very scary proposition. I'm assuming if you're in the industry, if you are a restaurateur, it's probably a terrifying thing. For us as diners, though, I think it can be a very interesting thing, a very exciting thing. It's just incumbent on us to go out there and support these places. Well, that's enough of a monologue for today. I haven't done one of those in a minute. We'll be back right after the break with the 2025 Top Chef Fantasy Draft. Dear listener, I made a deal with my wife. She let me start a food podcast and eat ungodly amounts of noodles, pizza, sandwiches, and more under two conditions. One is that I never utter her name. The other is that I find ways to be healthy outside of my work in food. Being the fantastic partner I am, I found a few ways to up my health game. I exercise almost every day, I try to sneak in salads for lunch whenever I can, and I only ever snack on healthy foods. The macadamia nut has become an essential part of my daily routine with the best omega-6 to 3 ratios in the nut game, 8 times better than pistachios and 20 times better than cashews. At houseofmacadamias.com, they've got a bunch of different macadamia products that you can enjoy, like savory and sweet snack packs and chocolate-covered snack bars. One of the problems with macadamias I've found is that they can be expensive, but I'm solving this for you, dear listener, because as of today, all you've got to do is head to houseofmacadamias.com and use code LAFOOD to get a 10% discount on a healthy snack that also happens to be delicious. So what are you waiting for? Head to www.houseofmacadamias.com/discount/LAFood and go nuts. Top Chef Season 22 kicks off this week in Canada. Gail, Tom, and Kristen are back at it, and as is our tradition, we on the LA Food Podcast are hosting our third annual edition of Fantasy Top Chef. The stakes are high as we play for dinner at the LA Times or New York Times Restaurant of the Year, depending which coast you live on. But as high as the stakes are, the pressure is even higher. We got a very special crew playing this year. First and foremost, let me welcome back last year's champion. I call her Jessie Evans, but you know her as Jessie Eats. Jessie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm actually excited you guys asked me back and are not fearful. So this is great. It's going to be another fun season. I'm honored to be back.
Oh my God, the shit talking started early. How are you feeling about defending your crown?
I feel pretty good. I got an insight of how you guys play this game last season. So I just went with same strategies, different contestants, but I'm feeling good. And I have you guys to thank for the win too for me. what you chose. So we're doing good.
You're thanking us for our incompetence. Is that right?
You were choosing the storylines, the emotions.
Well, we've changed everything this year, but we'll get to that. All right, also joining us this year are a couple of newcomers to the Melee. They're the hosts of the best Top Chef companion podcast known to man, Compliments to the Chef. It's Nancy Da Silva and Bits Nicholas. Nancy, Bits, we've been friends up to this point, but today we become competitors. How have you been preparing for this mortal standoff between titans?
I've been eating 12 dozen raw eggs for the last week.
I can attest her farts are crazy.
I think you should maybe get that checked out.
We have been preparing. I just had the thought, Nancy, like we're gonna have to sideline here for a bit and kind of get on the same page here.
Yeah, we have done absolutely no communication, but I would say how we've been preparing. We've been posting the bios of the upcoming contestants, but we've been preparing by just being super fans and stalking the Instagrams of every single chef competing.
Ooh,
I may have asked ChatGPT for help.
interesting.
Maybe didn't. Maybe did. Yeah, who knows? We'll see how it goes down.
I'm running on absolute vibes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how far that gets me.
Honestly, a big criteria is like, have they responded to us on Instagram?
I will say, so the Instagram stalking proved a pretty fruitful tactic for Jesse last year.
Okay.
Vibes bits didn't serve us so well. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, we'll balance each other out.
Finally, the final competitor today is actually my teammate in a plot twist that I was not expecting. Welcoming back the biggest loser of season 21, probably even more than cowboy hat wielding David Murphy, if not numerically, then spiritually. It's Father Saul. Saul, how confident are you of exacting revenge on the non-believers this year?
I'm feeling generally confident. I don't feel great about us being teammates. We have very, very different taste in contestants, as we've learned from the past. I think David Murphy was like one of your favorites last year, and you were like, he seems so cool and friendly, and I was like, worst vibes on earth. I clocked that at least. The one thing I got right last year. No, I'm ready. I'm ready. I learned a lot. I reflected. I took a look at my strategies. I'm coming back strong. And if you don't screw me up, I think we're going right to the top.
What'd you do in the off season? Did you actually train LeBron style, or did you smoke cigarettes and drink beer a la Luca?
It was more of a Luca approach overall, I will say. Here's the thing. Here's what I learned last year, and I offer this to all of you now. Last year, I had the number 1 overall pick, and I was between Danny Garcia, the eventual champion, and Laura Ozilmaz, who was also on the show. And what I did was I watched the trailer religiously, like game tape. I was trying to see how far people seemed, and something in the trailer that threw me off was that Danny Garcia was the first voice on the trailer, and I was like, they're not going to put the champion first in the trailer. They can't just be like, here's the guy who wins. And for that reason, I didn't choose him. This year. No trailer watching.
Wow.
No research at all. We're going in blind, just vibes, Bits style, basically. And so I feel good about my gut this year. I think I overthought it, and now we're going to come in with pure instinct and also Luca next to me. We'll see how that goes.
Saul, you should know that I said this on our interview with Savannah, but I sort of clocked. I think I knew that Danny was going to win immediately because we reached out to all the chefs on Instagram, and he was the only one who responded, quote, "Let me talk to my people."
Hey.
Ooh. There you go. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I respond that way too when I get DMs, but it's usually when I don't want to talk to the other person.
This also was true.
Well, yeah, he clearly did not want to talk to us either.
Look, let's give some quick thoughts on season 22. Obviously, it's in Canada, as I mentioned. Saul, I know you've got strong opinions about where the show is located. You famously did not like when it was located in London because you're a bit of a xenophobe. How are you feeling about Canada?
To be very clear, when they announced London, I was like, terrible idea. When they did the season, I was like, amazing idea. World All-Stars is obviously awesome. Canada is fine. I wish I want to go back to the U.S. Think about it. The last time we had I think a true blue U.S. season was Houston. And I know Wisconsin is also in the U.S., but I don't care about Wisconsin. I just don't care. I just don't care.
That's so arbitrary.
It may as well be Canada. They haven't gone too far.
Yeah, exactly. Wisconsin's basically Canada at this point. So, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm curious to go across the country with our neighbors to the north. But it's not quite I don't know. I want us to get back to like some true blue American like cities after this, hopefully. But happy for Gail, happy for Canada, and should be a decent season. I mean, World All Stars was so good. I'm assuming they're going to be able to pull something out like that again.
I was going to say, how do we think that Top Chef Canada will affect the impending trade war with Canada? Do we think that it is a vehicle of propaganda for the Canadian government?
Or peace.
Yeah, or peace.
Or peace.
I was gonna say, yeah. I look, it's not a true blue U.S. season for now,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But we could look back on this as the first time that the 51st state hosted Top Chef. So yeah,
Top Chef at the vanguard.
Yeah.
Well, hey, getting back to the business, Jesse, as our local LA expert, I wanted to quickly pick your brain because there are a couple of LA contestants this year. What can you tell us about them?
We got both Cats, which was so exciting when the unveiling happened on Instagram, right? So we have Kat Turner, who's the chef of Highly Likely, very casual, all day, comfort food sandwiches, coffee, breakfast. And then you have Katiana Hong, who I don't want to give too much away because I know we have a draft coming and you can clearly see my face of how excited I am that she's on this season. But she is a badass and she has Yongbun in LA, one of my favorite Korean American restaurants downtown LA. So that's very exciting.
I've been to that restaurant. I went the night before my sister's wedding to that restaurant.
No way.
And it was excellent.
Okay, that's saying a lot because I know you've got some spicy takes on LA restaurants, Nancy. Speaking of spicy takes, you know, as our resident insiders, Bits and Nancy, I'm going to ask you both. I'm going to actually go with Bits because you seem like the more like glass half full kind of person. No offense. What are you most excited for this season?
I really am excited about the Gale factor. I think it's fun when there is like a clear, coherent tether to the culture of Top Chef. I think last season was fun. We got to celebrate Kristen. And I think that Gail has just been this very consistent drum on the sort of like baseline of Top Chef. And she has earned this. Like she has earned this exalted status as, you know, pseudo host for this season. So I'm very excited to just see Gail revel in that. And I'm frankly just excited to be like back in a big metropolis.
Being the entire country of Canada?
Well, you know, it's a bit more of a melting pot. Like I just think
Wisconsin didn't bring much to the table.
Yeah.
Wisconsin for me was a little, the seasons where we're having to like bounce around the entire region gets a little, feels a little I like to be centered in a city. So, you know, I'm sure we may like journey to Quebec at some point, but for the time being, I'll be happy to be in Toronto.
Okay, I love that take. Okay, Nancy, now that we've deemed you the glass half empty person, what are you not so excited this season?
Canada, they fucking suck. No, yeah, they're so mean up there. What am I not excited about? There's nothing that is not exciting to me about Top Chef.
Just apprehensions, fears. Where could it go wrong?
I will say, I think that we're maybe getting a little too fancy with like the rule changes. Like last season, I don't think that they like bring anything to the table, if I'm being honest. Like didn't change the gameplay at all to like mix up quick fires and immunity and cash prizes and this and that. And so I hope that they don't dabble in that again because it just didn't add anything.
That's fair. Yeah, I think they tried to change a lot for Kristen's first season, but I haven't heard much of that at all this season, so maybe a good thing.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to add one more thing that I'm not excited about, and this is a very hot take, but the 75-minute episodes are too long. Primarily because it's just extra commercials. Like, it's a lot of ads.
Yeah.
They need those Canada tourism board.
They need to care.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone's got to pay the bills.
Someone's got to pay the bills. Anyway, these are my thoughts.
It was something I remember us talking about at the end of last season was not only were the episodes longer and therefore had more commercials, but the way they were filling the episodes would just like, it seemed like really extended B-roll and not like interesting interactions or more importantly, like Tom and or Kristen coming into the kitchen or giving their thoughts. It's just like, we just have now an extra like 10 minutes of B-roll of cooking and that's fine. But like, let's get more Tom if we have this extra time. Let's get more Kristen and Gail. Let's see those interactions that make the show what it is. I'll also throw out a fear because I'm a fearful person in general. What? I really hope, like last season, something that like what a big part of the conversation was that the quality of cooking wasn't quite as high as we'd seen in Portland and World All-Stars, of course, and then of course LA All-Stars shortly before that. That makes sense, but I'm hoping we have a really strong bounce back in terms of food quality this year. We don't know these chefs yet. We'll get to know them on Thursday, but I feel like I was missing the last season lacked a bit of oomph from like a cooking standpoint, I think, and I hope we see that come back.
Damn, shots fired at Danny Garcia. Okay, look, that's enough fears and apprehensions and also excitement shared there. Let's get into it. Let's get into the draft. Saul, as our draft master, can you give us a quick refresher on how this goes?
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 teams this year. Each of us will have 5 contestants from the 15 that are part of the season. Here's the way we're proposing it goes. It's a snake draft. What that means is the person who picks first, second, and then third goes in that order for round 1. Round 2 is third, second, first. Round 3 is first, second, third again.
We've all played Catan. We know how this works.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I think what we've traditionally done is that the winner goes first overall. So, Jesse, congratulations. If you would like to accept the first overall pick, it is yours.
I am honored and overwhelmed now because now I'm really serious with this choice.
Awesome. And then, compliments to the chef. You guys, we figured you're our guest. You can go second if you'd like. Tell us if you like to go third. I guess we're basically leaving it up to you, but I think second overall is what we were thinking for you guys since it's your first time in here, and then we would go third and do the turn. But that's the rough order of the draft that we were going to propose. Let us know if you feel good about it.
They say chivalry's dead.
I accept.
Awesome.
So I love the way you phrased that too. It was very or we can take it offline. It was a very work call way to propose it. We can just tell them what's up.
I have my informal Saul personality and professional Saul personality. Luca knows this. And look, this is Top Chef season 22. I'm locked in. This is professional. Now let me before we dive into the draft itself, let me do a quick refresher and or introduction to how the scoring goes. So each week, as we know, Quickfire Challenge typically opens the week. The winner of the Quickfire, the contestant who wins, or the team that wins, will get 3 points. If you're in the top 3 of the Quickfire, you get 1 point. And again, that's either the individual or the team that gets recognized as having one of the top 3 dishes. In the Elimination Challenge, the winner or winning team, 10 points each. Top 3 of the elimination, 5 points. Middle, meaning you're not top or bottom, not recognized. It's just a simple 2 points. Bottom 3 of the Quickfire, 0 points. And if you're eliminated, -5. So you can go backwards. As I learned last season when I had -2 points for 3 weeks after Charlie and Valentine got eliminated. And then back-to-back opening weeks. Finally, the winner of Top Chef, the winning contestant, will earn 25 points for their team. So the big thing with this is, especially with 3 teams and 5 contestants each, the key to the game, as long as you have a contestant in there with the points that a winner can get, anything could happen. Anything could happen near the end.
Yeah. You just got to stay alive.
Stay alive. That's the goal.
Well, then, without further ado, let's get started. The number 1 pick, Jesse, you're on the clock.
Okay, this was really hard to start this off, but I feel very solid that my first choice is Vincenzo Vinny Lasetta.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Now, he is the CDC at my favorite restaurant up in Napa Press in St. Helena. Background, EMP, Nomad, all the Michelin you could ever want, right? But why I am choosing him first is he has basically gone to the Olympics of culinary, which is I cannot say it with my horrible French accent, the Bocuse d'Or.
That was perfect.
Right? Okay, thank you. Merci. He won a gold medal not only he won first as a young chef when he was doing the mentor program. And then when he joined the USA team, they won gold. So he has refinement. He has pure, going against people in competition all over the world. I feel very strong with this choice.
Yeah, it's a great first overall pick, Jesse. Also, second year in a row, you've taken a Bocuse d'Or at least contestant with your first pick. Luca famously last year when Jesse picked Danny Garcia, who Luca had ranked last on his overall big board of contestants.
He has loser face.
No, he does not. He's an actual winner. And Luca was like, and what is this Bocuse door thing. Like no one's even heard of that. Where like
This, I thought it was like a cute little like young chef, like, you know, they get together and cook some stuff and like everybody feels bad for them. Like I thought it was
The
that,
opposite.
but honestly, now that I've learned my lesson,
It is the single most prestigious culinary accolade.
yeah.
In season 6, little Top Chef trivia, in season 6, in the like semifinal, the winner of the challenge, Kevin Gillespie, won a spot on the American Boku's door team. And he ended up not going because he felt guilty because
respect
he said
that.
that he had not been training his whole life for it. And he wanted to give it the spot to someone who really wanted it.
and if you read between the lines, he's like, "This is lame."
Honestly,
Honestly, no.
He
You can listen to our interview with Kevin where he talks about it.
yeah, he was very jazzed on the whole thing, but he was also like, dude, I just competed on a whole
I'm tired.
cooking
Yeah,
competition.
tired.
Like, I'm done.
Jesse, I'm going to give you a +1 on that choice. It's an excellent choice. If the Instagram data are to be an indicator of success, he was our most engaged with bio on our Instagram when we posted it.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow, that's good. That's good stat. Yeah, I'm not. He was actually at the top, one of the top picks because I've learned my Boku's door lesson. So this is an excellent pick, Jesse. Number 1, Vincenzo Vinny Losetto, Paisano, is no longer on the board.
This is a killer pick by Jesse because I was sure Jesse was going to go with an LA chef. The fact you went with Vinny means you're coming for blood in round 2. I was so sure you'd go with your heart. No, this is a head pick. I respect it.
Me too. Me too. Me too.
Listen, it's me by myself against duo teams. I gotta like really pull in the string.
That was an epic pick.
Thank you.
Yeah. I suspect being alone may be an advantage compared to Saul and I. But yeah, anyways, moving on to the second pick, Team CTTC, you're on the clock.
Okay, so this pick is a combo of vibes and talent. The vibes being she is the one who has been very supportive of us on Instagram. She reposts everything we post. We love you for it. And in my stalking her on Instagram, I think she's a really good chef. Like, I don't think she's a throwaway at the beginning. And I think she's going to make it really far. So our first pick is Lana Lago Marcini. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. And we have nothing but faith and confidence in her ability to succeed on season 22.
Bits, you second this?
I do second this, actually. We're kind of chatting on the side here. We're chatting via Excel, very similar to the music video My Boo, if you've ever seen it, featuring Kelly Rowland, who famously texts her boyfriend in Excel. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with this. My notes on Lana are, I love that she saw fit to note she's got experience with open fire cooking. I would love to see that come into play this season. And I think generally people who have a really strong grasp of what their flavor is from a kind of like in their soul, in their bones perspective, the fact that she mentions that she is soul food through fine dining lens, to me signals that she has a good command of flavors and is familiar with sort of like what we talk about a lot on our podcast, cooking your food. And so I think we're going to see her come out pretty strong, but have a very refined way of doing it. So wholeheartedly agree, Nancy.
She was not very high on my board, I'm not going to lie. Just because when I was reading her bio and, you know, getting to the end, it seems like she hasn't cooked in an actual kitchen in a minute. And when I was reading between the lines, the sort of like job description I was getting was actually like influencer, like in terms of like what they do. Like, and I'm just like, look, all good and well, but I'm not convinced that that is the pedigree you need to win this competition.
Okay, Luca, my response to this is, because I sort of feel like, fuck you, is she does a lot of events, large format, where you have to make a lot of little plates, and you know that shit's going to get her far in the beginning of the season.
Fair.
You know that one of your fancy boys is going to get out early on because they only work at EMP and like can only do like one little thing with tweezers. So don't come for me, Luca.
Fair.
I will say too, she was high on my list because of my Instagram stalking. Was on season 1 of Pressure Cooker Netflix and was on Chopped. So the competition of cooking is not new.
TV's not going to phase her.
That's key. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Egg on my face if when she inevitably wins the entire thing. Look, Saul, we're on the clock now. How should we do this? Should I do one and then you do the next one?
Yeah, why don't we do that? I'm hoping and thinking we might have the first person, the same first overall person on our list with who's remaining. I hope.
I hope so. I'm going to go and just hope for the best. So, with the third overall pick in the draft, Team LA Food Pod selects Katiana Hong.
Right.
There it is.
You son of a bitch.
I knew she'd be gone in the first round.
Was that the right choice, Saul?
100% the right choice. I feel very, very good about this pick. She was number 2 on my board, maybe behind Vinny. They were kind of tied at the top for me. I'm really excited. I want to root for an LA chef. One of the things that happened last year was like love for Laura and Charlie and Valentine, who were on my team, but kind of none of them had great personalities. And not only was I losing, but these people were like the least favorite of everyone in the group and like kind of had bad vibes. I just want like a good vibes LA person to go for. So I'm very supportive of this one.
Well, for her pedigree is incredible, obviously. Jesse's obviously done a great job teeing up her resume.
So upset.
Yeah. And then, but also then there's, she's also been on TV before, so we've gotten to see her personality. What was that show that she did that you really liked? Chrissy and Dave Dine Out, right? Like they go to Yangban.
Oh yeah, that's right. They go to Yangban. Yep.
Not a competition show, but in terms of like having a personality to root for, good personality.
She gives serious May energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember May?
Also an LA chef. Yeah.
And she's bad.
Well, that's the energy. Like May was like, I don't give a fuck over for Brian Voltaggio.
She's like also girl power, the first female to be a chef at a 3 Michelin star restaurant when she was the C2C at Meadowood. So she is badass. I think that was my top second. So good job, guys. Congrats.
Way to go, buddy.
Good for you. Good for you.
Oh, I would love to win this with an LA chef. Let's just put it that way. Okay, pick number 4. It stays with Team LA Food Pod. Saul, I'm gonna let you have this one.
Okay, sticking with the I want to have people on my team who I want to root for. I got to go with my brown brother, Zubair Mohajir.
Yes!
From Chennai, India, originally. Yeah. He wasn't near the top of like. I mean, he has solid background. He worked at Guggen, which is awesome. We're big fans. My sister actually went to Guggen last December and said it was like an amazing experience. And more so, this is like the hey, cool looking dude with similar background. I want to root for him. I don't want to be rooting against him, if anything. So
it's bad karma.
Let's bring him into the fold and hope he's good. Exactly. Yeah, this is vibes. Pure vibes pick.
He was our pick.
No, but it's a good pick, dude. He was actually he was my next pick as well. So we're on the same, we're in sync here because I looked at Instagram videos and he just has great vibes. I know that that's not what we're supposed to do when we're picking, but the way he talks and stuff, I'm like, this is somebody I want to root for. This is somebody I can get down with. And also when you hear about his pedigree too, yeah, this dude wants to go work for Gagan. He requests to go work there and then works there for 6 months. Like, I love that. I think he's going to bring a really interesting perspective. I'm all in on this, Saul. I don't like agreeing with you this much, but I do.
So every so often it happens. And look, the aura on our team, dude, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. We got a lot of badasses. A lot of Riz.
Pretty annoyed.
Pretty annoyed.
It's time for the number 5 pick. It goes back to team compliments to the chef. You're on the clock.
Just one quick thing on Zubair. My friend who lives in Chicago, when we started posting bios, immediately messaged me and said, he is so amazing. He's such a nice guy. We go to his restaurant all the time. So I was going to pick it on that alone. Good pick, team.
Hell yeah.
Has also been nice to us on Instagram, should note.
Key.
Okay. Geez, Nancy, where are we going to take this?
Fuck, dude. Where do we even go?
All right. Is this kind
you
of
want one of these guys?
Yeah, I'm thinking big thoughts here. So where my head is at is I'm going to go Henry Lou. I love when someone grows up cooking in a relative or family's kitchen. I think that bodes well as far as like passion and just innate skill, ability to operate under pressure. He also worked at Llama Inn, which actually is about a 10-minute walk from my apartment. Love that restaurant. Have a lot of I have a very fond memory from dining there.
Just one?
Well, I've only been there twice. And I guess I have two fond memories of my both dining experiences, but I went there on a very just perfect early summer night. We sat outside, we had some delicious cocktails, and it really is just a very
Great spot.
it's a great spot. So that's what's leading me to this decision.
I mean, he's got great accolades. James Beard semi-finalist, not just nominee, but semi-finalist, which means he made it past a round of whatever they do there. He also has some connections to some Top Chef alums, notably Evelyn Garcia, who was one of my favorites to do it in recent memory. And so for that, we pick Henry.
That was why I was going to pick him too, because he's worked with
Yeah.
Evelyn, recent contestant. That's an insider lens.
We don't talk about Evelyn enough.
Yeah,
We don't talk about Evelyn enough.
she was great.
Yeah, she got overshadowed, or whatever, not overshadowed, but like the Buddha rocket ship was so large that season. That was it. But she was an amazing contestant. Yeah.
That was like Season of the Gods.
God,
Everyone
we should do
there
a draft
had a
for all
PhD.
seasons. We should literally just like draft like the best Top Chef seasons.
That is.
I guess there's, like,
there's
no
a
real
content
way to
idea
do
for
that,
your off season.
Wait, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, Henry, great stash. I had him on my list for the stash alone.
Smile,
Great
just good
vibe.
energy.
Yeah.
All these people have good
Yeah,
energy.
totally.
They do
Sasto
all have
stash
good
energy
energy.
for sure. All right, good pick. I
Agreed.
think we agree. That's a good pick. All right, number 6 pick. You've actually got picks 6 and 7, Jesse. So you are on the clock for 2 picks.
Okay, I'm gonna go Tristan Epps. I think he's a great pick because we're going like the Caribbean American. He calls it Neo-Afro Caribbean cuisine, but he has fine dining background. So we're gonna have flavor. We're gonna have tweezers. He also has 2 concepts coming. So I think he's coming into this competition hungry to get these restaurants going. One's gonna be it's called Busboy, a wood-fired Afro-Caribbean restaurant tasting menu. And then he's opening up a hot dog place. So I already love him for that. He loves a good high-low.
I love that too. He was high on my board too. I think I just have Caribbean food on the brain. I went to Bridgetown Roti here in LA last Saturday and it was amazing. I was also in Brooklyn last week and went to a place called Mango Bay. Not sure if you've heard of it. Our New York friends, but it was fantastic. So I looked at this guy and I was like, I like what he's cooking up. Going back to your point, Nancy and Bits, about people cooking their food, I feel like he's going to be really strong at this. So I like this pick for you, Jesse.
What the note on the hot dog thing I want to zoom in on, because I feel like you have to have like a certain level of just confidence in your vision as a I don't know, as a creative and a chef to just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make some insane hot dogs. Like I just like when you see that kind of diversity of I have nowhere to put this,
Yeah.
so I need to start something and I need to do something with that energy. I need to like direct it somewhere. I think that good pick.
And hot dogs rule.
Yeah.
Hot dogs are so
Yeah.
good.
I love it. All right, Jesse, you're still on the clock for pick number 7.
Okay. I'm between 2 women, to be honest. And I'm actually going to go against what I thought I was going to do. And I'm going to go with Anya.
Ooh.
I feel like she might be a diamond in the rough, but I feel like she has the most years in the biz. I don't really see her a lot in the trailer, so maybe that's a sneak peek of like hiding the goods, or maybe she just doesn't make it far. But I love that she has the foraging background, the preserving background. She's in Michelin love, James Beard love, and she loves caviar. So I gotta give it to my girl Anya.
Right up your alley. I've got a question for you, Jesse, or for anybody, frankly. Obviously, she was born in Moscow. Is this a Putin soft power play?
That was not my intention, but you know.
All right, we'll go with no, in case anybody out there is listening. So those were your 2 picks. Going on to pick number 8, it's back to compliments to the chef.
Okay, with our 3rd pick in the draft, I'm starting to think that we maybe got the worst draft number and that you were trying to be polite, but we maybe got fucked.
Hey, we gave you the choice.
Easily bamboozled is what I have to say. We also clearly did 0 prep for this, so maybe we deserve it. But our next pick, for a similar reason why we chose Henry, the Top Chef Connect situation, we are picking Bailey Sullivan, who is a chef out of Chicago. She has worked with some great Top Chef finalists. We have Beverly, what was Beverly's last name? Beverly Kim. And also she worked with Sarah Grunberg. Is that how you pronounce her last name?
Yeah.
So 2 really good people to do it. And she is, her tutelage is great. And we look forward to seeing her perform on this season of Top Chef.
I will also add that I think the flag on sort of, known for embracing the atypica side of Italian cuisine. I feel like folks that are sort of like in the sort of Italian pocket tend to do fairly well on Top Chef. Like I think it's like foundationally a good skill set. It can extend in a lot of different directions. So that has me feeling good as well.
Yeah, she was high on my list too because of the Italian connection. Obviously, I felt spiritually connected to her. But to your point, like, I don't know, like, look at Joe Sasto and all these folks. Like, I feel like that pasta pedigree does come back to help you in a lot of cases. It's just like an impressive thing to pull out, especially if you can do it well. You've pretty much got Tom in the bag. It's high risk, but also high reward. Okay. Well, that's a great pick. We're back on the board. Team LA Food Pod, number 9. Saul, do you want me to go?
Go ahead, buddy.
Don't be mad. But with the 9th pick in the draft, I'm going to continue to be a homer, and I'm picking Kat Turner.
Happy about it.
How do you feel about that, Saul?
No, happy about it. Look, I have not been to Highly Likely before. I feel like I might be underrating Kat a little bit here because, I don't know, having Katiana in there as well as Kat. Katiana, like, kind of a, pushing the boundary, fine dining, borderline celebrity chef. And then Kat just having her, like, I know she's obviously, like, she's competed before. And I think she knows her stuff. But the level of restaurant in the city is just different. And I think because of that, I had Kat lower on my board. But at the same time, I was like I said, would just love to root for an LA chef. Like, keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it at home. And I'm not mad. Not mad at it at all.
Let me give you 2 reasons why this is an inspired pick, okay? Number 1, Kat is actually a Chopped champion. She's won a few different episodes of Chopped. So she has that in her bag. She knows the cooking competition. It's going to come definitely in handy for quick fires. Secondly, she is a former LA Food Pod guest, so I have a bit of a bias. But one thing I learned during that conversation is that she has spent tons of time on the road with like big bands and also like cooking for them.
Smashing Pumpkins,
exactly. And at sea. She spent time at sea with this thing called Summit at Sea, basically like leading their entire program. I'm just saying, she can cook under challenging circumstances.
If we see like the number of boat theme challenges that we've been seeing in the last few challenges, she's gonna be good. Yeah.
There was an entire cruise, like cruises were the theme of like season 21.
They were. I mean, the finale was literally on a cruise ship in season 21. Luca has a weird obsession with chefs who can cook on boats. He picked that German chef in World All Stars. I forget his name, but Luca was like this guy who was actually pretty good. I think his name was Tom Gutter. Was that him? Yeah.
Yeah, the German guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. On World All Stars.
He cooks aboard like fancy cruise ships. And for some reason, Luca thought that would translate perfectly to the Top Chef kitchen. It didn't quite, but I'm happy for you that you have this person with that has similar experience, so you can celebrate it.
I'm just saying, when you least expect it, you're going to be thrown on a cruise ship and need to know what to do. And Kat is our gal. All right, pick number 10. Saul, you're on the clock for us, LA Food Pod.
Yeah. This one's for you, buddy. I'm going Massimo Piedmont, the Italian Canadian, who is like the one, I think, hometown, quote unquote, hometown chef from Canada in the core cast. So that's exciting. Usually an indication that someone's going to, not necessarily go out in the first couple of weeks. Hometown chefs do tend to have a little bit of staying power. But really, again, this was like kind of handsome looking dude. He's Italian. It would make Luca happy. Vibes. Let's keep the vibes going.
He was high on my list too, and he's actually got a sick pedigree, right? Didn't he cook at Noma or something like that? Like
I'm actually gonna interject here.
Oof.
He staged at Noma, which is prestigious.
Yeah.
But if Bits and I have learned anything from interviewing all these Top Chef people, when you stage, you literally stand up with your back against the wall and do not touch anything.
Especially at Noma.
Especially at Noma.
Yeah. You are just like doing reindeer floss with a tweezer all day long.
I don't think it means anything.
Fair enough.
What I'm trying to say.
He was soaking up the knowledge. He was soaking up the culture. He's
yeah.
he was fermenting. He was standing there watching things ferment. Very important. Watching it go down. He does have his own fine dining restaurant, which has a seasonal tasting menu. I do think that requires a level of creativity and high level execution. And he worked as I think essentially a
Hometown.
line cook under Daniel Boulud. But it's really, again, like the pedigree is fine. He has his own restaurant, which I think is important. That's great. And then hometown and Italian, come on, can't go wrong.
Huge. No. Italian Canadians are a special breed. So, but then again, I'll still take it. I will say though, I like the fact that he has his own restaurant, and yeah, I just appreciate that you did this one for me, Saul. Okay, that's 10 picks on the board. Oh, I was also going to say we've had luck with hometown heroes. I had Dan Jacobs last year, and he was the only reason I didn't get completely crushed. So I feel good about that. All right, 10 picks have been selected. We're on to pick number 11. Compliments to the chef. You're on the board. Or on the clock. On the clock. That's what we say, right?
Oh, man. Okay, I am feeling for our next pick, I should have confirmed pronunciation, Shuai Wang,
Yeah. You could tell us anything right now.
Beijing.
Yeah.
Beijing born. I'm just interested in his trajectory. I think Chinese barbecue sounds super interesting, kind of like found a niche and just capitalized on it. He volunteers at the James Beard House. I was actually, just a side note, as I like kind of collect more coherent thoughts around why we are picking him.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of call outs around people's like volunteering.
I think it's big in the community. I think it's big in the chef community.
Yeah, a lot of volunteering.
I will say he's also a friend of the pod. Bits and I are like best claim to fame is that we did like a pre-professional program with someone who has gone on to be like a really good chef, Sean Wen, who is the owner and proprietor of Curry Boys Barbecue in Texas, which has been nominated for a James Beard Award. And when we posted Shuai on our Instagram, Sean Wen was like, yo, this guy's my friend.
Incredible.
So friend of a friend of the pod.
Incredible. Okay, then wholeheartedly.
And Sean Wen has the best vibes of
Yeah.
anyone we know.
Great.
Good vibes. Transitive property of vibes. That's a good no, he was high on my board. I like that. Isn't he based in South Carolina?
Yes, he does barbecue, and so does our friend. So I think they know each other in the barbecue world.
I'm just a big Southern charm and Southern hospitality fan on Bravo. So Charleston, I'm with it.
How you feel about Paige and Craig? Sad?
Paige and Craig, yeah, it breaks my heart a little bit, but we all saw it coming.
Yeah, she's on to bigger and better things.
We are now in the final picks. It goes back to Team Jesse. You have 2 back-to-back picks, and it is your last picks of the draft. Think about them carefully. It's all about roster construction.
This is really high stakes, you guys. All right. I'm going to go first with Corwin. I look at his background of being Jamaican heritage, but also his parents were U.S. Army. So he only grew up trying everything all around. So I'm like thinking like maybe osmosis. He has like, picking everything from his childhood. He's worked very Michelin before, but now he's doing private stuff. So he has the training, but he also has his own perspective. Maybe he'll do great. I sure hope.
Any hesitations around the private chefhood? Because, I mean, I think we talked about it last year, but to me, private chef, a little bit of a flag.
It's hit or miss. So that's why I'm just really hopeful on this one.
Yeah. Well, has a private chef ever won
Question.
Top Chef? Well, if no, then this could be the year. Who knows, Jesse?
Corwin, got this.
All right, and with your final pick of the draft, who you got?
Okay, my final pick is Cesar Murillo. I actually, and in no order of the two, but these are my next ones. He has also, by the way, 0 social media presence, which could be bad because we don't know what's going on, or could be great because his head is in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He is ready. He has just been in the dungeons of the kitchen
Yeah.
doing stuff. I also noticed that he is hiker, nature, marathon, just like my boy Danny last season. So
He bears a striking resemblance to Danny Garcia.
Yes. But farm to table Mexican cuisine. He's worked with Rick Bayless, so there's a lot of those flavors. I think we're gonna see. I think it's gonna be really great food.
Yeah. No social media presence to me is a great vibe. This is like a good sign. I just respect it straight up. And he's a marathoner. You just know this guy is like super grounded, super like has his head in the game. I don't know if I didn't pick him, or we didn't pick him earlier because I couldn't parse out from his background like what level he's at, but just from sheer hobbies and self-control around Instagram, gotta respect it.
Would you describe me as super grounded since I used to run marathons?
No. You are literally an influencer. You are the most online person. That's a key second aspect to what Cesar brings to the table that you do not have.
Fair. Okay, well, Jesse, your team is complete. We will recap it in just a moment. But before we do that, it's time for Team Compliments to the Chef's final pick. You're between two people who are Minnie Weissenborn and Paula and Dara. Who are you going to select?
Given that between these two, we have decided to draft Paula. Vibes. That's all I got.
Yeah, I would say vibes. I think it's going to be cool to see some like Amazonian Ecuadorian representation. So I'm excited about that. But I agree. Generally, vibes. You didn't get as much from her bio maybe as some of the other chefs, but I think similar to what we were just talking about, I kind of like that air of mystery. So let's see.
Okay, then that is your team complete, and that leaves us with Minnie Weissenborn. Saul, how do you feel about that?
Mimi seems nice. I don't know why, like, no reason for her to be the last pick necessarily. The one thing, like, look, if I'm looking for a killer, Mimi seems really nice. She seems very friendly, and that's sweet. And I'm a fan. Portland, Maine, I don't know, as a culinary destination, maybe that's also why. But I hope she surprises us. I mean, just because you're last in this draft doesn't mean you're last in the Top Chef kitchen at all. So who knows? Maybe she'll surprise us.
Portland, Maine's similar to Canada.
Yeah, similar, pretty close. Maybe she knows it.
Any concerns with someone who moves from a big market to a smaller market, like in terms of like, you know, ambition, ability to like stick with like within this cutthroat environment of Top Chef?
I mean, she did apply to Top Chef, so she still definitely has the competitive fire. So you can't disrespect that. I mean, look, if I were a chef, that would definitely be the career path that I follow. You prove it out in the big market, and then you just go chill. Like I respect that. That seems to me also like a very cool person. I feel great about the personalities across this whole season, but particularly on our team. So this worked out.
Well, I just want to add like one point in that column, which is one of our favorites on compliments, Sarah Bradley, who famously is just chilling in Paducah, Kentucky, and you know, gave Buddha a run for his money in World All-Stars. So it works.
But that's her hometown, right?
Yeah, but even so, I think you can be a big time chef in a small town pond.
If only she had just cooked, what was it, the foie gras more? Or the rabbit?
Yeah, whatever it was. She was the rightful champion of that season.
She would have beat Buddha. She would have beaten Buddha.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we all know it.
Yeah. Well, and also like Paula, Cesar, Minnie being like the last picks doesn't really mean shit because I think Savannah was one of our last picks last year and she went pretty far. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, let me recap the teams for our audience. Let's kick it off with team. You're about to find out. Team Jesse is Vincenzo Vinny Lassetto, Paisan Extraordinaire, Tristan Epps, Anya El Wattar, Corwin Hemming, and Cesar Murillo. Hearing that back, Jesse, how do you feel about your team?
I feel pretty strong. I think I got a good range. I have like the top picks I wanted that I like knew from like the bio, and then I have some flavor picks, and then I have some personality picks maybe. I do think all of our top ones we chose were all of my top ones too. So I think the competition is pretty even across the board.
I like your roster construction. I agree. You got personality. You got sort of the cutthroat. You got a good mix of Italian people in there. Really can't go wrong.
Nice mix.
Team compliments to the chef. You got your first pick was Lana Lago Marcini, Henry Liu, Bailey Sullivan, Shui Wang, and Paula Indara. That is your team. How are you feeling?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I feel we have a winning team, but I believe that we have vibes is really essentially what we went off of, word of the day. And that's really what we're here for as compliments to the chef. We're just here to have a good time. We don't like to pit these people against each other. We just want to talk about them and be friends with them, really is why we did this.
We're going to have a fun time. I am excited. I feel like we have good diversity from like a culinary perspective, so it's going to be fun to watch them compete regardless.
It is also important to note that I have lost every fantasy league I've ever been in.
Even the Congress fantasy that you did in high school?
Even Fantasy Congress in high school. Yeah, I picked too many Democrats.
Picked too many Democrats. That's why I lost. Is really funny. I was wondering how scoring works in Fantasy Congress. Like, do you get points for like a scandal, or is it like what bills they vote for? Like,
You lose right.
It was like bills. It was I can't even remember. But yeah, it was like bills.
Viral
tweets.
Like re-elections, all this stuff. No, viral tweets. What viral tweets were happening in high school?
True.
That's true. Viral MySpace posts.
Writing on the bathroom stall.
Yeah, well, I will say about your team, not a lot of Italians in there, but you do have Bailey Sullivan who scratches the itch. She can make pasta, so
my God.
that should be okay.
Well, I'll say that I don't think there's a single Jew in this cast, so I'm calling it out already for anti-Semitism.
Well, Katiana Hong has a Korean Jewish restaurant, so pretty close. Pretty close, if you ask me.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. I will say, by the way, low key, Henry at number 2. I think Henry could be a finalist this season. I think that might be your guy.
He's giving like Buddha meets Joe Sasto vibes, and the fact that he's got like Evelyn Garcia, like, you know, as his like partner. I'm scared of Henry. All right, Team LA Food Pod. This is who we got, Saul. We got both LA Cats. We got Chef Zubair from Chicago. We got Massimo Piedimonte, the Canadian and Italian. Of course, we got Mimi Weissenborn, who fell to us right at the end. Saul, how do you feel about this team?
I kind of feel really good, man. I feel really good about this team. I mean, what I'll say is, because I did so much overthinking last year, immediately as soon as the draft was over, I had a lot of doubt. Turns out fairly. But this year, not thinking is a great way to live. Just going off vibes is a great way to live. I think we're going to have a fun team. This is going to be a fun team to root for. I'm so happy we have both LA chefs. Seems appropriate for the LA Food Podcast. And so I'm just excited to root for these people, and we'll see what happens. I low-key feel quietly confident that we might have a winner here.
Well, that'll do for today. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this 2025 Fantasy Top Chef Draft. We'll be checking in on Top Chef throughout the season. I think we'll be doing a midpoint check-in and then a check-in again after the finale. But until then, I just wanted to say thank you, Jesse, thank you, Bits, and thank you, Nancy, and of course, Father Saul. Thank you as well.
Good job, you guys.
Woo, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to our guests, Father Saul, Nancy De Silva, Bits Nicholas, and of course, Jesse Evans for joining us today. If you like what you heard here today, dear listener, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts, leave us a rating, a review. Seriously, all that stuff really helps us make our way up the charts, both on Spotify and on Apple. We'll be back next week with another epic episode, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, even our website at the LA Countdown. That's TheLaCountdown. You can also find us on Instagram at LA Food Pod. That's LAFOODPOD.